We're ready, aren't we? All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you all here. I know we have a lot of folks on vacation right now. We have graduation ceremonies going on today. So thank you guys for being here today and spending this special time with us. We have some visitors back here. We'll welcome you again and glad to have you here. And I hope you'll stay afterwards for a fellowship so we can all talk with you. And many thanks to everyone joining us online. We're grateful for everyone's support that keeps the church rolling along with tithes and donations that come in by PayPal or checks at the baskets at the back or checks through the website donation link. We are grateful for your support. So it keeps us moving along nicely here. I always like to start with a few announcements just so you know what's coming up if there's something you want to take advantage of. The Unity Men's Dinner is this week. Is that right, Larry?
Yes.
This Wednesday, 6 o'clock at Vittoria, all right? Is that right?
Yes.
Vittoria Restaurant on Sawmill Parkway in Powell. I've not been there, but that sounds fun. So if you want to know anything more about the Unity Men's Dinner, talk to Larry here. He's coordinating this month. Gentle Yoga with Yogi Tamara, Thursday at 1 in the back room. As usual, donation basis. Newcomers always welcome. In a couple weeks, Jazziana Chalet is going to be with us as a guest speaker and musician. She always does a terrific job, a great message, and wonderful music. And of course, our summer concert, I just want you to make sure you got it on your calendar, July 26th, 6 o'clock on the back lawn and deck, weather permitting. Otherwise, inside. A great lineup of musicians has come together, so I hope you'll be able to join us for that. And I wanted to mention our talented videographer, techie guy here, a tech guru, Michael Contras. He's just put out a beautiful tribute to the very talented Jack White here, who's 88 now. It's hard to believe. We've known him so many years. And such a talented guy. And Michael created a video tribute to him and his talent, his background, and his history a little bit as a special gift for him and his family. And he's doing that now for others, if there's others in the community that right, Michael, who have a loved one they want to do this kind of a tribute for, so that those stories, those memories won't be lost over time. I wish I could do that now for grandparents that aren't with me or my parents. But anyway, we're going to try to put that Jack Widener tribute on the church's YouTube page, and then those of you who know and love Jack can take advantage of that. It's beautiful work, so you're going to enjoy that. And I think that's about it. So let's just take a breath and begin to think about who we are lifting up in prayer in our hearts and our minds. And Carissa Holmes and Michael Contras, so glad to have them with us today. Carissa is going to lead us into prayer with a song called Hands of Grace.
We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love, like a child that seeks protection from a mother's warm embrace. We are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love, like a child that seeks protection from a mother's warm embrace. We are held in the hands of grace.
alert to that presence of God that abides in us, each one, unfailingly, with us always, that power and presence of God. In this beautiful season of spring, we take note of the life all around us, the givingness of creation that is flowing through us, all living things around us, giving of themselves, their scent, their fruit, their beauty. That same energy is flowing through us, is gifting us by day and by night, lavishly, generously. And we let that gift flow through us as we share it with others. These quiet moments of prayer, we affirm our deep gratitude for the life of God in us, that vast wellspring of healing energy, of comfort, of peace, of renewing life. We know it is flowing through us all, and all those we are lifting up in prayer this day. Not one of us is separate from the life of God. So we know that all is well with ourselves, our loved ones, our neighbors, our community. The powerful activity of God, the healing energy of God is at work in our very midst, and we are truly grateful. And so it is. Amen. All right. We have another song. This is one by Michael Gott, I think. It's a familiar one. Joe and I have done this a number of times. All That I Need. Good one.
Yes. And please do sing along. Singing is good for you. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past, it's gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Sweet rain that washes me clean. The mind creates all things, into my life it brings. Sweet rain that washes me clean. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace, it shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace, it shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me.
Love that song. That's great. Thank you, Carissa. Thank you, Michael. All right. And thank you, Lana, for the extra tech help down here doing the panning. Panning is tricky. Okay. But, sort of talking about giving and receiving today, the flow of giving and receiving. So I stumbled on this story I thought was kind of cute. It's about a man. He'd worked hard all his life. He'd saved a lot of money. And he was pretty tight with his money, you know, when it came to his money. And he really kind of loved his money more than just about everything else. And so he told his wife, you know, when the time comes that I'm about to go on, you know, I want you to be sure and put that money in the casket with me, because I want to take it with me into the afterlife. And he made a promise, so she did. She promised she would do that. And, you know, down the road a ways, that happened. And he passed before her. And so, you know, she's at the funeral. Her best friend is sitting beside her there. And just as they're about to close that casket, she says, wait a minute. She's got this box on her lap. And she goes up and she puts that in the casket, sits back down by her friend. And her friend said, don't tell me you put all that money in that casket with that fool of a husband of yours. And she said, I made a promise. A promise is a promise. And she said, you put all that cash in there? And she said, well, I took care of it. I put it all in my account and I gave him a check. Pretty savvy. Pretty savvy. So my title today is As We Give. It kind of harkens to that scripture, of course, as we give, so do we receive. And it's sort of about the flow of giving and receiving. And it was sparked by just some reading I was doing, where I was reading about the tradition of the giveaway in Native American culture. How many of you have heard of that? Is it familiar to you? It was fairly new to me, and then I started thinking, I think I have heard about little things about that in the past. It's a tradition among most Native American indigenous tribes have ceremonies frequently. They call it the giveaway. In the Pacific Northwest, tribes called it the potlatch. Some of you might have heard of that. And it's practiced quite regularly and routinely to kind of, in a way, it kind of emulates the giving take of giving and receiving of nature. You know, it emulates that and teaches us to live in harmony with that. So it's a ceremony that's undertaken whenever an individual or a family or a clan group experiences a great sense of abundance, of having plenty, of being provided for, of joy, and they feel a desire to share that with others. And there's sort of an ancient system of redistribution of wealth in a way too, economically, but it's a practice of gratitude and givingness, and it really sort of flies in the face of European and American notions of how to handle prosperity or how we become more prosperous. Ideas about private property and accumulation of wealth seems to fly in the face of that because it's more about honoring the desire to give away one's abundance. And so the early European settlers didn't understand it at all. In fact, it was outlawed by the U.S. government for many years. But it has persisted among indigenous people, and for good reason. It's a powerful way of actually moving toward a true sense of abundance that transcends monetary terms. Being in the flow of this giving and receiving. The giveaway was honored. It was considered a sacred practice, and imitating the lavish generosity of nature, that all living things in nature do not withhold what they have. They share freely what they have, whether it's the scent from the flowers or the fruit from the trees or the sunlight from the sky or the rain coming down from the heavens. All of nature shares generously what it has to offer. And so this was a ceremony about living in a similar manner because, of course, we are nature connected. We are natural beings as well. And it's taught to children early in life to help them become less attached to possessions, less about gathering, getting more. And it's practiced and it's taught often by elders or medicine men, medicine women to younger generations and passed along that way. So it's often hosted by a tribe, a person, a community with good fortune. And there's usually a ceremony, there's a feast, there's singing, there's dancing, and there's giving of gifts. And hosts who give many gifts are sort of esteemed and admired for their generosity. They garner more admiration and respect from how much they give as opposed to how much they accumulate. That sounds refreshing, doesn't it? How much they give away. And on a personal level, people would think about what objects they have that want to be shared with others. There's an understanding that there's a spirit about objects, there's a soulfulness about objects, they want to have a purpose, they want to be used. And an understanding about gifts, that if you receive a gift and you don't use it, put it up on a shelf or never use it, that it's a dishonor to the gift that wants to be used. It's a dishonor to the giver that you didn't use that gift, you didn't honor it, and it's a dishonor to themselves. It's like, it's a disrespect for the giving of things. So both giving and receiving are an important part of that process. We need to be able to give generously and receive wholeheartedly and gratefully as part of that process. I think it's a deep spiritual territory we're into as we think about the giveaway and how that might show up in our lives and how we might use that to gain a greater feeling of abundance at all times, regardless of what it says on our checking account. An abundant life, what is real wealth? Those kinds of questions. I think there's some real food for thought here. A regular practice of generous giving is actually a pathway to a greater sense of abundance. And it seems to trigger the whole flow of giving and receiving. And I think we all kind of know how that works. We've all experienced the joy of giving to another, and it was warmly received. You know the feeling? It feels good. This is something they can use, they're grateful for. I feel good having passed it along. And then they're motivated to maybe give something as well. And so the circle continues, the give and take, the flow. I think that's something that we can all benefit from reflecting more on. That feeling of grace, that somehow you've been a channel for passing along a valued gift to another that they're going to use and enjoy. It happens sometimes even in our transactional things, I think. I was thinking about the good feeling I had when I sold my little house I lived in before Joe and I were married. I had a little house in Clintonville. And they had all those little houses had once been kind of Victorian cottages down near the river, but tiny little places now, kind of closer together. But I loved that house. I lived in it for 9 years, and at the sale, that's when I met the buyer for the first time. A lovely young woman with pink hair. I still remember that vividly. Pink hair was more unusual then. I think now you see lots of pink hair and purple hair and blue hair. But I gave her a gift at the closing of a fake rock for outside to put her key in so she'd never get locked out of her new home. And she gave me Photoshop pictures of what she planned to do to her lovely new house, all this Victorian trim she was going to put on it and all. And we shared those gifts, and it made it like a giveaway kind of, even though it was transactional. She was sharing with me that she loved the house and she honored it. She honored that gift. And I was sharing, I appreciated her honoring that, and I wanted to share a gift with her. We knew the feeling of that, and it's so much more enriching than a simple exchange of commodities, getting money for an object or something like that. So much more enriching if there's a giveaway about it, if there's an exchange of gifts. I think this is something that's much needed in our culture, would you say? I had a Scottish friend years ago who had come over to this country to do grad work. And one of his early questions he asked me when he got here was, why do so many Americans have yard sales? And I hadn't thought about it before. It just seemed kind of a standard thing in life. We're getting into yard sale season now, right? And I thought, well, one of the reasons is it's hard for us to let go of stuff. We have too much stuff. We have trouble letting it go. We have, and also we might want to make some money from it if we possibly can. There's a lot of hoarding in our country, accumulating too many possessions. We see a lot of yards full of too much stuff, cars that don't work anymore. And have you ever seen yards with toilets in them? I have. Just too much stuff that we just can't quite, or used play equipment with kids growing up now and can't seem to move those things along. It's a bit of a problem in our culture, I think. Not finding ways to give away, to share the abundance in our lives, and it clogs up the pores in our lives. There's a lot of people who have so much stuff they've got to have a storage facility to put the extra stuff in, right? Which maybe they go visit sometimes to look for something. And if they abandon that or can't pay for that storage facility, the storage facility sells it all off, right? They have an auction or something and off it goes. None of that values gifts as in the way that the Native Americans did in their giveaway ceremony. It's all a lot of disrespect, no honor for the things involved, the gifts involved. It seems like the more stuff we have, the less we honor it, and the less abundant we feel, really. We feel more abundant when we give and share, I think, not when we hoard and feel like we don't have enough and have rooms so full of stuff we can't even use them, which happens. Well, I think this idea of the giveaway and the flow of giving and receiving, it's very much in the Christian tradition, very strongly in our spiritual teachings. Jesus certainly urged his disciples when he was sending them out to spread the good news he'd shared, the healing news, the powerful energy of God flowing through them, telling them, go out and tell them the kingdom of heaven is near, it's right here. And he said, go and share. He said, go to the lost sheep, heal the sick, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. In other words, share your gifts, share freely. Freely you have received, freely give. Don't charge for your services. There wasn't any of that. They shared freely the teachings that they had learned from Jesus. They were put up in homes. People shared their wealth with them, and they shared their teachings and the healing energy that they could share with others. And then they moved on to another home where they shared what they had, freely giving what they had received. Being put up, being hosted, being provided for, and then moving on. That's from Matthew 10. Go freely you have received, give freely give. And then this lovely teaching from Luke 6:38. As you give, so you will receive. That's this teaching. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. I've always liked that. It's like as much into there, even still overflowing. Even if you press it down and try to get more in, it's going to be very, very generous. When you give, that's what's going to come back to you. Be put into your lap, for with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. That's a powerful teaching. I think about the power of giving. The more generous we are, the more comes back to us. The more that flow gets stimulated, the clogs are gone, the pores are opened up, the good is flowing in, it's flowing out through you, and more comes in as you release things. We talk about this in Unity and New Thought teachings a lot. You've probably all heard people talk about the law of circulation. You keep it circulating. Years ago, some of you who attended Unity of Columbus, how many of you attended? Quite a few of you. Do you remember Circulation Day? At Unity of Columbus, years ago, 70s, maybe early 80s, we had something once a year called Circulation Day. It was a good idea, to kind of move along things that you don't need anymore and share them with others, and it would bring them into the church. And then by the end of the day, some of that stuff was taken and a whole lot was not. And there was a lot kind of hanging around. There wasn't really exactly the sacred quality of the giveaway about it, but it was a move in the right direction. It was an understanding. We need to let things circulate. Not open up the pores in our lives, not hoarding or withholding, letting things go to be a blessing to others. The powerful teaching. We talk about the law of circulation. We talk about the law of mutual blessing. Whenever you bless another, that blessing is going to come back to you. Some direction. We don't know exactly what channel, but if you give a blessing to others, if you share something with another and bless them in some way, you will be blessed in return. There's no doubt about that. We participate in a generous flow of life. In other words, when we give, when we practice giving, and the more regularly we do it, the more that flow is going to be happening in our lives. And we know how it works. It's like we stimulate this process by giving, and that inspires gratitude, and then more giving, and so it goes. So I think what the bottom line of these teachings is that a surplus of stuff does not make us feel more abundant or more joyful. In fact, quite often it feels burdensome. It feels burdensome and it kind of removes us from the flow of life like a stream going dry because you've stopped the flow. So how do we, if we want to participate in this or practice this in some way, how can we use this idea of the giveaway in our lives to open up that flow more, those channels of the flow of giving and receiving? First one, I think, is to kind of, maybe bottom line, is begin by taking kind of an assessment, an inventory of our stuff. There was a teacher, a Native American teacher, who said when she started a class, she did that one time, and she went through her home and her closets and her cedar chests or whatever it was. She wanted to celebrate a new year and the abundance and the good feeling they had, and so she wanted to have a giveaway for her students. So she kind of went through all her inventory, and she asked the objects which ones wanted to be shared. And it's kind of ask the objects and ask your heart. And she found some object she thought, oh, I still love that. That's so beautiful. I don't know whether I can give that up. And then she would reflect on it, and she'd think, well, when have I used that? When was the last time I used that? Or how long has it been in that closet? Does this sound familiar? We have a lot of this in our lives, a lot of this in our lives. So that's a place to stop, our closets, our memorabilia. Reflect on how we feel about that. Can you give that away? Is that something that wants to be used by others, that should be used by someone with gratitude, with joy? Do you have trouble letting that go? And if so, why are you having trouble giving that away? Would it make you happy if it was given to somebody who was really going to use and enjoy that? Very often it does. It lifts our hearts up when we know it's going to be received in that way. Like the woman who bought my house. It gave me pleasure that the woman with pink hair was going to love my house. It was a nice gift. So we take stock personally of our inventory of stuff and see what wants to be released and shared. And then we reflect on how, maybe to whom we'd like to pass that along. Sometimes that takes a little while, figuring that out, the right place or person or way to kind of give that back out, what channel to use. But it can be such a joyful activity and such a regular part of life if you're always thinking about something you could share with someone. I'm sure many of you do this. You know, you think about something that you really need to move along, you're not using it anymore, and it could be a blessing to someone else, and then you think, so-and-so could really use this. I'm going to see if they would like to receive it from me. And then that feels really good to share something in that way. And that can become a regular thing. And it helps us become less attached to our possessions. It helps open up that flow, that giving and receiving flow, creating more space for good to flow into our lives and out through us to others. So we take stock, we reflect on how we want to direct it outward, who we want to give it to. And when we're gifted by another, we receive it gratefully. Sometimes we're not good at receiving, would you agree? I know that for myself particularly, get a little independent like I need to do for myself all the time. Well, particularly as I get a little older, I need a little help with some things. Anybody else in the house? We were talking earlier about how I really shouldn't get up on ladders anymore and climb around on the roof. Neither Joe nor I should be doing that. So you really need to learn to be able to receive more help with things. With gratitude, realizing that's a part of the process. We give, we receive, it's a flow we all participate in. We don't have to be, no, I don't need anything. There's no particular honor in that, in being separate, like you're not a person who never needs to receive anything. We all need to receive, and we all need to give. So we receive gratefully, we honor it, whatever we receive, we honor it and use it. Maybe if we can't, we gift it to someone who will really enjoy and use that. And then you kind of ponder how you might want to pass the gift along after you receive something. And that's a kind of an intuitive process, I think. When you receive something and you feel grateful, there's an inner desire to want to pass that along in some way. If not that particular gift, maybe something else. I've been dipping into a book by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Have any of you ever read her work? She's a Native American background too, but it's a book called The Serviceberry. And it's really kind of a lot of lessons from the serviceberry trees. Any of you have any serviceberry trees? Wonderful tree, native tree. And she talked about picking the June berries from it. I guess there are many names for the fruit of the serviceberry tree. Filling a bucket gratefully with these June berries when it bore fruit, getting a full bucket, and such joy as that bucket filled up with these berries. And then she shared them with a neighbor, split those berries, and that neighbor made a couple pies out of those June berries, and she got one of those pies back. And so she's motivated. This is how the flow goes, right? And we've all participated in this. Someone gives you gifts from their garden. I have a whole perennial bed behind the house that was a gift from my neighbor Kate across the street 25 years ago. It's amazing how these gifts go on. And I've tried to share some of my garden plants with others too. Anyone else do that kind of gift exchange? It's a lovely form of the giveaway, sharing gifts with one another. Robin Wall Kimmerer says in her book, all flourishing is mutual. That's a great affirmation. Let's say that together. All flourishing is mutual. There's a flow. There's a flow of giving and receiving we all participate in. It isn't an independent, just me making my way, getting together as much as I can, trying to get my needs met. It is all of us together, giving and receiving, sharing the abundance we have to share, receiving from others. So we take stock, we reflect on to whom we want to share. When we're gifted by others, we receive gratefully. We honor and use the gifts we receive. We think about how we ponder how we might want to share gifts with others and pass it along. And the final point, above all, do not withhold. Do not withhold like I've got nothing to give. We all have something to give. Absolutely. No matter what the circumstances are or what the bank account says, we all have something to give. And we need to give it. It's a part of being a part of the flow of life. If we withhold, it's the stream going dry. We're stopping the flow of that. The great poet Khalil Gibran said, "To withhold is to perish." There is no withholding in nature. All things share generously of who they are, what they have, the gifts they've been given by creation. I love this quote from Walt Whitman, Song of Myself. "I have stores plenty and to spare, and anything I have I bestow." I love that. Isn't that beautiful? Statement of generosity and willingness to give whatever I have, freely and fully with others. Just as Jesus taught, freely we have received, freely we give. Let's make that an affirmation too before we wrap that up. Freely I have received, freely I give. Freely I have received, freely I give. Let's take that into prayer for a moment. Affirming that truth within. Each of us has been gifted by creation. We have been given gifts to share. We have been nurtured by creation. There's a power and presence that dwells in us that is healing us at all times, guiding us, strengthening us, renewing us. We are grateful receivers of that life of God in us, and we are ready to share the bounty of creation that flows through us. Whatever gifts we have to share, whatever wisdom we have to share, whatever things might be a blessing to others that we'd like to pass along, we are open channels for the flow of that abundance, and we are blessed in return. Thank you, God, for your unfailing presence in our very midst, now and always. We are grateful. Amen. All right, we're going to have another song by Carissa and Michael, and I think it's a real familiar one that maybe people will join in on.
Yes, if you don't know this one yet. Maybe you live on the moon, I don't know.
Hand clapping on 2 and 4.
Yeah, 2 and 4.
Okay, yeah, not 1 and 3, 2 and 4.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Every day
thank you for your non-ending gifts to
Oh.
us. We are most grateful.
Thank you.
Also discovered a new use for checks that we don't write anymore.
Yes.
In any case, and Michael and Carissa, you shone. Thank you so much. And Michael and Lana, thank you for keeping us on track and
Yeah.
with our video and such. Thank you so much. And we have more of a general thank you now. Apparently the Fellowship Angel duties are being shared by a whole crew of folks. So thank you one and all for all your contributions.
Yes.
Okay, brief recap, men's dinner, 6 o'clock at Victoria in Powell. That's, 6 o'clock. Gentle yoga at 1 o'clock on Thursday. Reverend Jazziana will be joining us as guest speaker and musician on Sunday, June 1st, so I'll get to torment her as usual. And our summer concert, Saturday, 6 o'clock, July 26th. Any other announcements? If not, let's join up for the peace song.
All right. Thank you, Larry. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Elizabeth. Yeah. Very nice. There we go. Yeah. Might need to move down a little bit, Lana. Yeah. May the circle be unbroken. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous hour. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let's join together in our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right. See you in the back for fellowship time. Lots of goodies back there.